Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Chatting with the Experts, where I, Paula, the host, speak with women from Africa, from the Caribbean, and in the diaspora. And these women are successful entrepreneurs and professionals, and they share with me the mission of educating, empowering, and inspiring women globally. Today, our topic is very interesting. It's called The Power of the Pivot. Encore Reinvention Strategies for Women 50 plus, redefining their next chapter. My guest, who will be joining me in a few minutes, says, gone are the days when turning 50 meant settling into retirement planning. She says today's women over 50 are launching businesses, changing careers, and creating their most fulfilling chapters yet. She is a strategist, a speaker, and author specializing in business, career, and life reinvention for women 50 plus. She's the author of the Encore Playbook and Methodology. She has helped hundreds, I almost said thousands, hundreds of women transform their second acts into their most successful chapters yet. And she combines practical strategy with authentic leadership instincts, empowering women to leverage their wisdom, resilience, and experience to build lasting impact and generational legacies. Please help me welcome to Chatting with the Experts, Miss Paula Washington. Hey, 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 hey.
Hello, Paula. It's so nice to be on a show with you. Another Paula. It's so cool. You're
Coolest
Paula
name
O.
ever.
I know, right? You're Paula O and I'm Paula W. Thank you so
Oh,
much for having me.
absolutely, absolutely. It was thrilling when we met and I realized, or when we were introduced, and someone said, her name is Paula too. And I was like, yes, at long last, we can have double Paula power, right?
Absolutely. Y'all better watch out. Coming for you today.
We're coming for you today. Well, I know that you said gone are the days when turning 50 meant settling into retirement, and,
Absolutely not.
just, settling for, oh, I'm 50 and my years on earth are over, or my years of being fulfilling are over. You say that doesn't happen, or that shouldn't happen anymore. Let's talk about that.
Well, in my own personal journey in 20s and 30s, discovering who I was and experiencing downsizing and various other things that have happened in life and in my personal life as well, going through divorce and all of that at one time, I realized, wait a minute, there's got to be more than life than the script I was given: go to college, get married, work 30 years, and retire. And when your life plan falls apart based on what was given to you have to kind of reinvent that and figure out, okay, what's next for me? So as I move forward in my career and corporate training and leadership development and things of that nature, I realized, wait a minute, I don't want what everybody said I have to have. And I need
Mhm.
to really pivot and use the talents and the gifts that God gave me to manage my own time, manage my own schedule, and move forward. And so being forced to step up into a new realm, I created a formula called decade mapping, where you actually map out the decades, what you want to see, where you are realistically, where you want to be, and what will it take to maintain that lifestyle or to get to that place. And I realized, wow, in my 50s, well, my daughter would be gone. I'd be an empty nester. Yay. And I would be in control of my life. However,
Mhm.
along the way, life happens. I was caregiving for my parents, long term caregiver, helped my mom with my dad, and then my mom and my grandparents, and so forth. And all of those, in what you would call disruptions or interruptions, caused me to look at everything differently. And it's not that it's over at 50, it's just beginning. And the number 50 means Jubilee. So that is
Mhm.
celebrating. Okay. So if you're in the midst of any of those situations or you're on your way to empty nesting, let's get planted. Let's get going because the best really is yet to come. Every decade I realized I was more energetic, more enthusiastic, and I was clear on who I was and what I wanted to do. And that those roles that I had to play throughout life, now I dictate what's next, not everyone else in every situation, in every circumstance, or a job, or a this, or fear, or anxiety, or all of those things that chase us our whole life, make us think we're less than, or we missed the boat. No, we didn't miss the boat. We're getting ready to steer the ship. So this is where we are. And so at 50, when I turned 50, it was very liberating for me. And then what happened? Then I got sick. And the doctor mentioned,
Oh no.
yeah. And the doctor said to me, it had nothing to do with how you cared for yourself or anything. It was the culmination of what you've lived. So now let's go to the next stage of that and shift. So I did a natural process for healing for cancer and all. Got another degree and reestablished my business in a whole different way and my life. And I found the greatest joy. And so now in my 60s, I look back at my 50s and I was like, wow, people really need to know the best is yet to come. And things do work out. May not be the way you expect, may not even be the way you want. But when you get on the other side of through, you're going to see how you grow. You're going to see the opportunities, and you're going to know how to leverage the best part of you to monetize that for your next opportunity. Because you are actually now holding the pen to your own story.
Hmm. I love it because what I'm hearing from you is that life begins at 50.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, it does. And no matter what it throws, guess what? You know how to catch that ball now. Because
Mhm.
before it was a little rough. I'm trying to figure it out. In your 50s, it's like, I don't care. Whatever you do. And in your 60s, it's like, and you just keep looking in different directions because everything is not as urgent and as important as it was at that time because you didn't know
So
where you were
true.
going. Now, we cannot actually write down everything that's going to happen, but we have the wisdom now to know the natural things that will happen and be prepared for those things. We also have the wisdom now to leverage what we know and who we are to show up and be the best person in the room, to build those authentic connections and relationships where we trust others and they trust us. And number one, we trust ourselves. One of the things that I've found in coaching and working with women and providing, different strategies and pathways for them is they lose trust and confidence in themselves because of the hits
Mhm.
of life. Life can hit you
Mhm.
to a degree like you wondering, wait, I don't know which way to go. And you're standing around looking around like, huh? And because of that, sometimes you don't want to try again. Sometimes
Yes.
you don't want to get back up again. And
Mhm.
sometimes, your faith gets shaken. You're like, God, really? Are you there? Did you walk away? Or what's happening here? And it's
Mhm.
just helping you to recognize who you really are inside and the resilience and the power you have. And so when we're talking about pivoting, that's being able to move on a dime. And the reason we can move on a dime now, because we have the wisdom and the hard earned experience. This did not come.
Mhm.
You're not going to get it in your 20s. You're not going to get it in your 30s. It's not going to happen until you get to
Mhm.
the other side where you're looking at what's in front of you.
Mhm.
And the years in front of you are less than the years behind you, but they are the
Yeah.
most significant. They are the most powerful. They are the legacy years that the experience is phenomenal. And
Mhm.
only you are the one that can determine if that's the direction you want to go.
I love that. You said something that's really jumped out at me that we have to realize that the years ahead of us are less than the years behind us. But what I hear from that too is that, and the years behind us, we've had experiences that can
Exactly.
help us,
Exactly.
because many times, people look, oh my gosh, I'm in my 60s or 70s, and yeah, statistically, we don't have that many years ahead of us, but you can look behind and take what you learned behind and use that to prop up what's you're experiencing right now and what's ahead of you
Exactly. Do
and
you know
impact the world.
exactly? Because do you know Forbes has a article that the majority of entrepreneurs start in their 50s and 60s for women.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
why? We are no longer caregiving. We're no longer,
Mhm.
parenting. We're out of the roles that confined us into a
Mhm.
particular pathway. Those
Mhm.
roles don't define who we are in the future, but they
Mhm.
help shape the expertise, the natural talent we have, and our
Mhm.
brilliance of
Mhm.
intelligence to take that, package it, and move forward with it. Now we are the chairwoman. We actually need to get an Oscar for our own performance, okay?
I love it.
Because
Awesome.
if you make it to this stage in life, baby, you have been through some things and you have done some stuff, okay? And so
Mhm.
in my onward framework, I have 6 pillars of reinvention. I have exit with intention. Okay, so we're going to go through transitions in life. And because those things are going to happen, okay, let's look at what's the next transition you want to go through, whether you want to leave the job or you're moving to another city or you're whatever it is in relationships. Let's outline that, strategize about the best options available, and put a timeline and a communication plan in who's going to be affected by that. Then next we go to navigate the new. This is charting with clarity in uncertain terms. In other words, after the crazy and the chaos is over, and that we created, I happen to bend the fire in the frying pan, and then after I got out, realized, hold up, I need to change. Okay, because everybody else is not moving and not changing. After we've owned all of our stuff and we look and the dust settles, now we're moving forward into a new territory we've never been. You've never been 50, you've never been 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever. But the
Yep.
good thing about it is you've got all of those years behind you. So we're not trying to recreate the past, we're trying to leverage that for our future. And the
Mhm.
only way we can do that is through C is the commitment, communication, and connection. In order to move forward in anything in life, you have to be committed. You've got to be committed to yourself and to the goals and objectives that you have set forth, and committed to the values that you have in your life, your shared vision and core values, in order to communicate that properly, to connect with other individuals. Because we're not an island by ourselves. We are our best when we're with others, where we can share who we are and bring out the brilliance in who they are, and vice versa. And we're building those solid, authentic relationships. And as we get
Mhm.
older, we really know how to tap into that, and we really know how to leverage those things. It's more important. Relationships become more important because people are here today and may not be here tomorrow. So in my
Mhm.
60s, I'm looking at, when I had all these family members pass away 5 years ago, and they were all in their 90s, and, from 89 to 97. And I said, hold up, what am I going to do with my time left? I may
Oh.
have 30, 40 years left. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the best years in front of me because I'm free to be me and enjoy that. So then
Mhm.
there's the opportunity. There's the O in Encore, creating, seizing, and aligning your opportunities around the strategy that you develop that you want to see in the next decade. And then back into that. So we have the next decade. For me, it's 70. Okay. So now from 60 to 70, I have something I need to do every year to get to where I want to be in 70.
Mhm.
If you're 40, if you're 50, you're going to back into it. And that keeps you focused and it keeps you on track. And then you're constantly assessing, and then you celebrate your wins and celebrate all the milestones along the way. You learn and you adapt, and we accept. Just accept what is. Every opportunity we're going to seize and align it. Some may work, some may not. But at this stage, we have the option of what risk we will take and what risk we won't. And then
Yes.
yes, and then we look for relevance as in R, setting resonant, progressive goals. Don't go coming up with all these lofty ideas that you cannot do. Can we
Yes.
just be realistic here? Let's be relevant of what's happening in your life today, what's happening in the world today. If it's a business or a career you're moving forward to, what are the resonant progressive goals that you can lend your time, energy, and talent to, that you are looking to get paid for? Because it's time
Yes.
to get paid the value of what you're worth and who you are. And that's only going to happen if you have a plan. Let's align that plan and then move towards it progressively. So then E is the last letter in the Encore, and that's for excellence, your personal trademark. Each one of us have a standard of excellence that we are the go-to person. Like Miss Paula O is the go-to person for this podcast, TV
Oh,
show, and
yeah.
all that she does. She is the woman that has evolved in her reinvention. And everybody wants to be on her show. Why?
Yes.
Because she has mastered who she is and she is proud of it. And so we have to get to that place in ourselves. And it's
Yeah.
a journey and it's fun. It has highs and lows, but we know how to overcome. We know that, sometimes it may be a little cloudy or maybe have some shadows, but we can see the North Star through that because we've
Mhm.
already been there,
Yeah. I
you know.
love your Encore framework. Oh my gosh. I was looking at it and writing it down and saying, woohoo. Not not loud enough for you all to hear, you in the audience, but for me to internalize it and say, this is great. Exit with intention, navigate the new. Commitment, communication, connections, opportunities, creating seasons, relevance. That's very important. Setting resonate and realistic goal. Excellence, your personal trademark. Oh my gosh. Did I get them all?
You got them all and you got them perfectly. That is
Oh,
wonderful. Yes.
love it. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to paste it on my mirror in my bathroom and look at it every day. Because, as you rightfully said, as you hit your 60s, where I am on that same floor with you,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that, yes, some things you did were not quite, you
Mm-hmm.
learn from it. It's time to move on. And so
Exactly.
that exit with intention is important because it's not just exiting, but making sure that you've got a plan, which is what you're talking about.
Yes, and one of the things that what I've learned to do is take the business strategies and align them with life because
Hmm.
they work. In
Hmm.
business, we always have an exit strategy
Yes.
when we're doing risk management and stuff. Any plan, any program, anything we're going to create, we have a exit strategy. Well, why not in life? As we were growing up from home to elementary school, we had orientation, elementary to middle, high school, college. You go to your jobs, they give you orientation, but there is no playbook for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, now in my encore years, which are my best years, and if you look at so many women who have been extremely successful in their 60s and 70s, which I put in my book, and 80s and so forth, it's because of the culmination of the wisdom and expertise that they have learned over the years. And now they're the most powerful they've ever been. They're the most secure in who they are. They are the most confident and courageous because they know how to stand. See, if you've never been through something, you don't know what to do. You're gonna fall apart at everything. Most of everybody's so weak now. Let me not get on that train. Anyhow, but you know, uh, you have to have adversity. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
You're gonna
Yep.
go through. You're gonna
Yep.
go through. The most challenging thing is I found not only just my own health challenges, but just caregiving. And caregiving for the
Mm.
persons that have brought you in the earth. And now
Mhm.
you're looking at them slowly slipping away in whatever
Yeah.
capacity it is.
Yeah.
That whole realm
Yeah.
changes you for life.
It
I mean,
does.
once you finish that caregiving role, you are never the same human being after that. And when you finish that caregiving role, you are the best human being you ever was. Because for me, it helped me look at my mortality and like,
Yeah.
okay, God, you know what? What's your plan this time? Because I know what I did.
Yeah.
So let's look at what you really want to do. You got to have faith. I mean, only two people got real faith are the entrepreneurs and those who have been ill. Because you got to believe God for everything. Okay. And I'm
Say
not
that, say
saying
that,
other
say that, say that.
people,
Say that again. Only two people.
two
Two sets of
categories. Because entrepreneurs believe God for what? Everything. Okay.
every penny.
Every penny, every day
Yeah.
when the phone isn't ringing, all of
Yeah.
these things. And then
Yeah.
when you're ill,
Yes, that's so true.
and especially people who are terminally ill, and
Yes.
God wakes them up every day. Come on now,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they're not on a machine or something like that,
Yes.
and then those who are caring for those who are ill, not just the family members, which is huge. And I talk about that in my book, but the hospice, the nurses, the
Mhm.
doctors,
Mhm. Mhm.
everyone that comes in contact with the
Mhm.
individual that needs care. They have a personal life as well. And they're
So true.
pouring out of their heart to give to help that individual
Yes.
live. You're pouring out of every fiber of your being to keep the ship going. To the degree sometimes you don't even remember about your own ships.
Yes.
I remember
You're
I
right.
forgot to pay my own bills, okay? Because I was taking care of everything else. I didn't even know what was going on. One of my cousins called me on the phone. He said, Paul, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing all the estate stuff and this and that and the other thing. Oh, you're the POA? I said, yes. He said, well, did you take care of yourself? Thanks for reminding me. He said, when you finish all of that, give me a call back and I'm going to make sure you get your stuff together. And that was such a great conversation because all of us at that time were losing our last parent. And it was just so nice to laugh,
Yes.
with
Yes.
someone that understood how
I
cuckoo we.
understood.
Yes, because during that season, you need the support. And I talk about the fact it's not just the financial, that's a given. I mean, my father designated me as POA and end of life decisions at 35. He said it over dinner. Then it went on a cruise. Okay. So it was like I had a full list together. Okay. Who knew in the next couple of years we were going to have to take care of him? So I'm just saying that those things in life, they take every bit of you, who you thought you were out. And you
Yes.
learn, not only do you understand your own resilience and who you really are, but there's a beauty that comes through you that you never experienced. And there's
Yes.
joy. And so the more mature we get, the better we become, like fine wine, you know, like a beautiful little flower that buds through the ground. And it took all that time to burst through. And then you see those little leaves, and then it grows up into a big, beautiful bush of roses or a tree, and all those things. Nature has a way of just showing us evolution of who we are.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. You are so right. Especially, when you talk about, I have become an avid gardener, but not for flowers. I wish I could say, and in addition to that, too, like planting edible things, but I'm not there yet. We'll get there. But what you said is so true. You put something in the ground and you don't know all the work that's going on, and then it emerges as a beautiful flower, and you're like, wow, look at that. And that's the same thing with life. And that's the same thing, as you said, this stage of life, all those ups and downs, adversities, the good times and not so good times are all enabling you to blossom into, for the most part, into this wonderfully poised 50-plus-year-old woman with a lot of experience, a lot of, gifts that you can share with others, so much more
Yeah.
than, sometimes we even think. Because, you talked about my podcast. It's taken me like 13 years to get to where I am. I started in 2012, not really knowing what I was doing, but I felt
Exactly.
a calling, and here we are.
Yes. And look at how, that's another thing. People think, oh, you're overnight wonder. No, you are not. You in the background over the years making it happen. You're learning new technologies. You're going through the
Yes.
highs and lows of the industry. You're going through competitors. You're going through so many different things. In the background is where everything is built. Because when you think about a rose and it comes through and it's a tea rose and it's closed real tight, then it starts to open and open and open. And then that aroma comes out. And then wherever that rose is, you smell that aroma. So just as a woman, just as you starting a podcast in 2012, the aroma, the work speaks for itself.
Sleepless
And so
nights.
you have a catalog of work that speaks for itself. So now you don't have to talk. Like you see the pink roses behind me, they're just
Yep.
sitting there smelling. They just smelling good and looking good
And
and
looking good.
looking good, being fine and foxy any way they want to be today. I put a little
Yes.
stuff in there to help them stay perky. But
Yeah.
bottom line, at the end of the day, this is who we are.
Amen. 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 Well, before we join the rest, we invite people to join us and ask you questions. You mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, decade mapping. Let's
Yes.
talk about that. That's so interesting. Decade mapping. It's
Yes.
not a term I've heard before. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. I created a decade map from the ages 20 to 90. And I did that, as I was going through my journeys in my 30s and 40s and so forth. And a lot of the leadership development and all the training I created, I would also use it in my after school programs for entrepreneurs, young women. And they enjoyed it because now they had to map where they wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
I was mapping where I came from and what I need to happen now because I'm in the midst of the crazy. Okay. I'm in the midst of life. And so the decade mapping is actually, I have all the categories of life: personal, professional, occupational, which is different from professional because you go from either a career in a work environment into an entrepreneurial experience, a passion project, or something. A lot of women want to be on boards, they want to set up nonprofits and things of that nature. Then you go into the financial aid of it. And then you're also looking at the social. So now we have a whole life, your own corporation, if you will. And then, so at the time that I created it, I did it till 90 because I had the research, I had the relationships, and I was interviewing people in their 90s. I can't extend it to 100, but I'm leaving it where it is. And then every decade, you put in there at least one or two things you want. And then when you get to the legacy side of your life, you're looking at what do you want to leave as you go and as you grow. Because we leave a legacy every day, a smile, a hug, a kind word, whatever. That's a legacy to another human being. But what do you want the next generation in your lineage not to have to start over and do? Not just economically, but what do you want to leave behind? So if at 90 you're ready, you're saying, I've set up this, I've set up that, I've set up that. Now, how are we going to get there? Well, wherever you are currently, we're going to back into it. So every year within the decade you're in, you're going towards that ultimate goal and the short term goals in between. And so now, when you have 10 years to acquire or aspire to where you really want to be, that takes the pressure off. Because what I realized is 3 5-year plans doesn't work. Because guess what? You have a life happening. You have someone ill in your family. All these women and men that have been laid off, 300,000 people have been laid off. Okay. Women have been laid off. Okay. They ain't no 3 5-year plan for that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
There's nothing for that. The company could go bankrupt and then your pension or 401k is gone. What?
Mm-hmm.
So within 10 years, you can rebound, recoup, reclaim, reignite, restart, whatever look needs to be. But reinvention is always there because I always know where I want to show up and what I want to show up and be. And I want to be the best version of me.
This is so good. This is so good. The decade mapping. Is that in your book?
Yes, it's in my book. I have a whole course, The Power of Decades, and it's been in my book. It's been in my catalog for, many, over 20 years because it's evolved as I evolved, so.
Yeah,
And that's the
love it.
beautiful thing about it. I love the whole decade mapping. That kept me on track, kept me focused, and gave me hope. Loss is with hope, and grief is no hope. And so during the losses of life where I had to grieve for things, I had hope because I saw where I was going. I remember one time my father was in the hospital, everybody was upset and crazy and all that. And I was like, well, this sickness unto death, he's not dying. Okay, we're just gonna have to walk through this. So I have a tear down one eye and I'm writing a business plan in another for a women's foundation. Here we go. And I ran that organization for over 12 years. I've had clients in corporate wanting to exit out, one in particular, and she wanted to exit in 18 months. And she said, I want to set up my business. My husband's setting up another business, and we want to do this, this, and this. So we put it all together. Long story short, her division got cut. She was able to take that actual plan and negotiate the best deal she could because she was a C suite executive. And then when she exited, a family member got ill and she had to caregive, but she was in position. Because why? She had a plan. Someone else would have been, oh, I'm not going to do what I want to do. Blah, blah, blah. No, she had a plan. Okay, so I'm not going to do that now 100%, but I can work on it in the background, which I call it playing with your toys. and makes you happy.
Love that.
Yes.
Play with your toys.
Play with your toys. Yeah, go in the room, play with your toys. I don't care if it's jacks, whatever you like to do, double touch. I don't care. Call it playing with your toys because why? Now I know I'm going to do this once I get through this. And as I go through this, I'll have more freedom as I go along. I told a client the other day, she's a parent with small children, and she's like, I'm so exhausted. I'm gonna get up. I said, listen, the older they get, the more freedom you have and the
Yep,
more economic responsibility you'll have. However,
absolutely.
you'll have more energy to create something along the way in the background just for you.
Mhm,
So, how does that make you feel? Oh, it's not so bad. I'm like, yeah, not so bad. So,
mhm. Loving it, loving it. Well, we need to have time for the audience who I'm sure are waiting to
yes,
talk with you,
yes,
to
yes.
ask you more questions, like on some of the biggest mistakes that women make when trying to reinvent themselves. I think that's a great, great question. Audience, if you haven't thought about asking that question to Paula W., please ask her.
Yes, I'm looking forward to chatting with all of you. It's going to be so exciting.
Exactly. So where can you be found online? Because anyone who hasn't been in the audience and is watching this later on, we want to just get in touch with you. Can people find
Okay,
you
you could
online?
you could go to my website, paulawashington.com. You can go LinkedIn at Paula Washington MBA. And also I just launched a YouTube channel called the Encore Playbook. So that's at Paula Washington. And so you can find me online. You can set up a free discovery call. I'll be glad to have a chat with you.
Absolutely. Are you on Instagram or Facebook? And those are
I
now.
am on Instagram at I am Paula Washington, and I am on Facebook, but I don't remember what it is.
Don't worry.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry, we'll
So
find you.
yeah, so all of those you'll find me. And it's so funny, sometimes people put my name in and the Washington, Denzel Washington's wife comes up. It's real. And then I'm down there on the bottom underneath. So it's really funny. It happens a lot on YouTube, so it's real funny. But you'll find me, paulawashington.com has all my information. And my LinkedIn is very active, so you'll be able to find me.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are watching this later on, you've just heard the other Paula. We are amazing, but she is the other amazing Paula. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, just like she has been, reach out to me on my website, which is chattingwiththeexperts.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, very active on LinkedIn as Paula Okone. I have a page there as well, Chatting with the Experts. I am on IG. My handle there is at chat_experts_podcast. I'm glad I get it right now. I didn't at first. I'm also on Facebook as Paula Okone. And I too have a YouTube channel. I'd ask for you to subscribe because I've got amazing, amazing, amazing women who have shared their expertise on my YouTube channel. You get an opportunity to see them. And so now we open up the floor to all who joined us. And any question that I haven't answered, or I haven't asked, not answered, the other Paula is answering them, please feel free to ask her. Thank you, Paula, for saying yes to being a guest on Chatting with the Experts. I enjoyed every minute of it.
I did too. And thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
All right.